people to me is Arab Americans. We don't get certain rights, we don't get privilege. We don't get, the funding that we need for education and health purposes. There is no checkbox on the US Census for Middle Eastern and North African descent. And I think that's really a difficult thing because there's a lot of disparity with our ethnicity.
Money for jobs and education, not for war and occupation.
Politically, we get backlash.
They say you cannot fly with us. There is a passenger who doesn't feel safe.
And that causes a lot of problems, especially in my community. And there's such a huge abundance of Arab Americans.
Therefore, whenever you are meeting or you are having any encounter with Arab identity on the news, it's most likely political, that's like bleak and gloomy.
People from Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula are talking about a major attack.
So many desperate people were walking across the Hungarian border. Police had to shut down major highways.
Lawmakers say the kind of terrorist chatter we're hearing now is very similar to what we heard before 9/11.
And you have this oh, this is not something I'm interested in learning more about.
Arab Americans have contributed to this country for decades. It's just that many of them were never identified as Arab Americans. We've been around for a while, we've contributed for a while, but maybe many of us Arab Americans have for reasons of expediency, passed as white. Especially since, and this is something I think much of the American public doesn't realize, the conflation of Arab and Muslim. It is the case that the majority of Arabs in the United States still are Christian. However, more recent immigrants are predominantly Muslim, and their names often announce that. And so, it arguably wouldn't be as feasible for them to pass as white and try to sort of gain acceptance in the society that way anyway. Hopefully they don't feel that they have to, and maybe Al Bustan could be sort of an empowering voice in that regard.
No justice, no peace.
But at this point it's detrimental in that we know little about ourselves. We don't even know what our population is in the United States exactly. We've got estimates. We don't know where they live. We don't know what their socioeconomic status is. There's a lot about ourselves that we don't know. No thanks to our not being sort of identified in the US Census. We've moved from trying to persuade white people that, hey, we're not going to hurt you. We're not all a bunch of murderers. Hey, we've got a lot more to offer. Trust us. Please come to us. To now a more assertive, more self-confident posture. We don't need to be apologetic. We wouldn't even begin to tolerate the notion that we should all be, that anyone would consider that all of us are sort of inherently bad, inherently evil, inherently terroristic. We're past that. We're at the moment where we think we deserve to claim our place in American culture as contributing, integral component of it.